All right, guys. Danny and Lewis here. We wanted to put something out for everybody to talk a little bit about our next training cycle. We've tried this, like doing the blog format. We've done podcasts about our next training cycles that we have coming up, but we wanted to put together a video for you guys. We're going to do this going forward to just educate our team and people that are following our program or might be interested in our program, to let everyone know what we're doing, what we're focusing on, what the intricacies are of our next training cycle. Right?
Yeah, I think it helps as an athlete to have some big picture overview of where the cycle's going and what we're working on. It gives you like more directive in your training and more of a buy-in towards the actual endpoint or goal for a specific cycle.
It also helps keep us accountable as well while our team is writing programs. We always like to focus on what the end goal is and work ourselves back. So for this training cycle, for example, most of the emphasis, all the emphasis really is on preparation for a sanctioned event called Wadapalooza. With that said, however, we realize that there are people that are following our training program that are not qualified for, not interested in, or for whatever reason don't want to travel down to Miami for Wadapalooza.
Yeah, individual qualifiers happened already for Wadapalooza. Not everyone's doing it, and that's fine. We call this a Wadapalooza prep cycle because that's what's next in the year schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's just for people doing Wadapalooza. It's specific to anyone that has a competition coming up. And even if you don't, it's a natural transition from what we've been doing there during the Open. We're going to focus on things we haven't focused on in a while. And it's going to, again, help build your fitness from our endpoint with this Open season.
Right. Look, naturally, we have people that follow our training programs that don't compete for whatever reason. Regardless of what your position is or what your why is for training or not, for the amount of volume that we prescribe, we definitely recommend that people have some kind of goal that they tie into training. Trust me from experience, when you're just like aimlessly training this amount of volume with really no purpose, it makes it really hard to dial in and stay focused and like give you a reason to come to the gym in the morning on those days where you're just dragging ass and you don't want to come in.
Yeah.
So I understand that for some people there's like a barrier of entry with wanting to compete. However, we definitely do advocate that. Not necessarily from the performance angle, but more from the goal setting side and helping people stay dialed in and focused. So again, whether you are doing Wadapalooza or not, this is a training cycle for anyone who is training at these kind of volumes and they have goals in mind. And I will also say, for those folks who are not competing in Wadapalooza, we definitely will still advocate them having like a competition simulated weekend, the same time that all the other folks that are participating in Wadapalooza.
Yeah, and the way the year is set up now in the sport of fitness, everyone really, no matter where you are in the world right now, you should be able to find some event coming up.
Yeah.
Like everything has been shifted to after the Open, and now we're going to see sanctionals and qualifiers literally all over the world, and with those come smaller local events as well.
Correct.
So, even if you don't want to do Wadapalooza, find yourself a local event that times out to around the same time.
Right. So, Lou, let's start talking about the changes in our program. We're going to now offer what we call a pro version, right?
Well, yeah, first of all, the Open's over now. We talked about this before the Open. I've mentioned it a lot on the Facebook group. It's okay to get a little less fit during the Open, and it probably happens to almost everyone. If you care about the Open and you do it with intention, it's almost natural that it happens. Our Wednesdays have been way less intense in training. Our Saturdays have been way less intense in training, and that's normal. That's expected, and I think everyone that's been doing this sport long enough accepts that, and they understand it. Going forward, our regular programming will increase in volume, will increase in intensity. We're going to be adding some things in that you haven't seen in a while, and it will be overall harder. And right off the bat, it may take you a little longer. You may be less sore. Just be aware of that. It's normal. You will adjust to the volume. What you were talking about, what you were about to mention, is we're also going to be adding back in a different version. We're going to call it TST Pro version, and this is more designed towards the athlete that is already qualified for sanctioned events, is a national champ, has their sights set on the games. What we used to call a regional level competitor, what we now would call a sanctioned event competitor. If that's you, you honestly probably do need to be doing double sessions. You need an increase in volume. You have to touch more things throughout the year. You have to stay sharp on more movements throughout the year. So it's we've moved towards a model that is not one size fits all, and that's okay. We're just going to have to offer more versions for different level athletes.
What's interesting is when people are preparing or in the middle of the open, they get really obsessed with volume. People feel like volume is going to be the fastest way for them to have progress in training or see themselves in a higher position on the leaderboard. When realistically, all that work happens several weeks out of the open.
Yeah.
However,
sure.
When 20.1 started, whatever your level of fitness is exactly how fit you're going to be.
Yeah.
Week 2, week 3, the only thing you could potentially see is a drop off or maybe potential injury during the
Unless
open.
you came into the open out of shape,
Yes.
you're not going to get fitter throughout it.
Correct.
Fitness is only going to go down.
So really pushing volume leading up to and during the open is not really ideal. You'll tend to see a very high level of burnout for folks that are pushing volume. And that really goes for everyone across the board, especially the way that the season is structured now with the games almost leading right into the open.
Right.
We're not going to see the best in our sport in their best shape. So, now is where a program like ours will start to kick up the volume.
Right. The old school, the way we used to do this, the old periodized model that we used to have, where it was you had a very structured, long off season where we did all our aerobic work and strict work, and then built up slowly to the open, and then Wadapalooza, and then regionals. That's gone. That model's gone. It is way too hard to have one program that linearly periodizes the whole year. It has to be done on an athlete per athlete basis, or we need to do something like what we're doing, which is a sort of mixed periodization model. We are not always going from aerobic work to VO2 max work to anaerobic work to battery work.